Alright guys, quick video today on the Hyperchiller, the coffee chiller mug. I think it's made by Keurig, where you brew your coffee into here. It goes down inside. There are several chambers which hold, this one holds ice, this middle one holds the coffee, and there's a smaller chamber in the center that holds more ice, leaving a pocket where your coffee goes to rapidly chill from 100 degrees down to 35 degrees in like under 3 minutes. Problematic design, it's horrible, riddled with problems. I suggest you don't buy one of these because no matter what version you get, they all have design problems and they all break. This was my first Hyperchiller. See, here's the lid. It's a series of threads and chambers. The smallest one gets filled with water. This one gets filled with coffee. And then the big one on the outside gets filled with water. And then you screw it together and freeze it. And then your hot coffee goes in there and it takes about 3 minutes, cools it right down for great iced coffee. Problem is, the Hyperchiller that's made out of this plastic, the body will split when it's thermal expansion and contraction. When you freeze it, the water expands and will just crack your housing of your $25 or however much mug, rendering it essentially useless. I think you can still use it using these two chambers because the coffee will still go to the correct place and you can still pour it, but it's not the same. So I got a stainless one so the body doesn't crack. So this one, there's a problem because on this one, the plastic threads are bonded to the stainless body and they expand and contract at different rates, hence popping off the top. Once you screw it on and you go in your freezer and all of a sudden your top is unscrewed and crooked, like cross-threaded. Like what? And it's because it just popped off when it cooled down. Or the other problem is when you take your mug and you swish it around to cool it faster, which is what it recommends to do, on this one, the inner chamber unscrews and falls into the coffee. So it's full of ice, but the coffee melted it, which makes it water. So when you pour it, it pours that old water in with your coffee and your mug is overflowing. You're like, where did all that extra liquid come from? And then you open it up and you find that this has unscrewed out of the cap. And so you ruined your coffee and you got to dump it. All these designs are flawed. I wouldn't buy any of them. This one I put up with for a while until I started finding the threads would be popped open in the freezer. I'm like, how did that happen? And it would continually happen no matter how careful I was threading it, all that. It's never been cross-threaded. It's a poor design. And it works good for a little while. And then it becomes just a hassle. So it's easier just to do something else. Put your travel mug in the freezer or do whatever you do. But I do not recommend these Hyperchiller mugs. Even the stainless one, which was a few extra bucks, I think, but it's not reliable. It's a bad design. And I have a design for a better, completely different mug that I would like to patent, but I have yet to make a prototype. I'm kind of working on that, so that would avoid the hassle of all this stuff. But yeah, don't recommend the Hyperchiller because the plastic ones with the plastic bodies crack. Read the reviews, they all crack. And this one, all of them, the tops pop off. Or the chamber falls apart and you're left on threads and you're left with water coffee and it ruins your day, ruins your coffee. So that's it, Hyperchillers, don't buy one, bad design.